Okay, in this video we're going to have a look at the K&F Concept or Kent Faith BLK22 charger for the Panasonic Lumix cameras. And the charger is essentially, well, it's a charger and battery combo, and it comes with two BLK22 batteries plus a BLK22 charger, which you can see here. And a lot of Lumix cameras use these batteries, including the S5, the original S5, the S5 Mark II, S5 Mark IIX, the GH6, GH7, and even the GH5 Mark II use them as well. And although this video isn't sponsored, I was contacted by K&F Concept or Kent Faith to see if I actually wanted to test any of their products, and I think they were maybe a little bit surprised when I asked if I could trial out these batteries as opposed to anything else they've got on offer. But essentially what they've done is I'm not getting paid for the video. They've sent me the batteries to test, and I'm getting them on kind of a lifetime test, so I can actually trial them for more time. I've been using them for a couple of months, and because I wanted it to not just be here's the batteries and they are what they are. I wanted to test them out. I wanted to see how they do compared to the Lumix official batteries, and sort of see where they fit into place with other third-party batteries. And kind of to be clear, I do get quite a few brands come to me with things, and it's not often I actually accept things. And the only reason I really did it is because I use other K&F Concept stuff. I use their filters, I use one of their bags, I use their tripods. You might have seen in other videos little bits of their stuff kind of pop up. So it is stuff that I use, and I've already looked at these batteries, and I was potentially looking at buying them. So it's something when they kind of came along, I said, okay, I'll give them a test. It sort of fits in really nicely. So as I say, it's not they've not paid me, no money's exchanged hands, and it's just purely my own take on this. So we'll kind of start with the elephant in the room, which is third-party batteries. I know this is like a completely polarizing topic where some people will just be immediately put off, but I've done a video before about third-party batteries, and I'll link to that up in the corner. If you watch this channel, that I use them for various reasons. And the kind of summary of it is I have used them for a long time. I've used them in different camera brands. I've used them for Lumix cameras for years. So the Lumix battery to now has always been my kind of go-to, as it holds the most consistent charge. But looking at these batteries, this is what kind of made me interested, and I'll kind of get into that later in the video. So in terms of Lumix chargers, there's not a lot of consistency anymore as to who gets a charger. And I believe, I don't know this is fact, but I believe around the world there are different legislations for them selling chargers with cameras. And that's where USB-C power delivery has become a big component of kind of cameras. So rather than offering these battery packs, they just sort of say, well, you can just plug in a USB-C cable to the camera now, and you can charge it. But obviously that's not as useful as having a battery charger, because just completely takes the camera out of use. If you have two batteries, you kind of can't charge one whilst you're using the other one. And I believe if you buy the GH6 or the GH7, you still get one of these. Again, I'm not sure if that works across different territories, but if you purchase the G9 Mark II or the S5 Mark II or the S5 Mark IIX, you don't get one. It's just purely, charging in camera. So as I say, to me, I was lucky because I've got the GH6. I got one, but for me, it's a big bugbear not to have an independent charger. Just being able to charge cameras in the battery, charge batteries in the camera for me is not great, and I wouldn't want that as a primary method to have to charge my batteries. So that's where, for me, third-party batteries, they always come in. If not just for the batteries, it's the chargers that come with them, because quite often you'll get dual chargers, and they do the job at the end of the day. They do the job, and they do it for a lot less money than the official chargers. So the official BLK22 battery, which should be inside here, let's have a quick look. not planned this maybe as well as I could have. So yeah, that's the official battery. So the official Lumix BLK22 is a 2200 milliamp battery, hence the name. And the K&F Concept third-party battery is actually a 2400 milliamp battery, which you may or may not be able to see, sort of just about on the front of there. It's yeah, it's sort of marginal, but you know, that's about a 10% increase, considering that you can just actually replace that with the standard battery. You know, there's nothing external, and you could also use a power bank to top that up as well. So the stock battery itself lasts about 60 to 90 minutes recording constant video. So you'd essentially get about 5 to 10 minutes additional recording per battery. And the benefit to me there, although that sounds very marginal, is that the actual third-party batteries have the potential to last as long, if not longer, than the stock batteries, which just does not happen with other third-party batteries, or not ones I've used. I mean, obviously, feel free in the comments if you want to kind of bring up other ones. As I say, I'm not advocating this could be the only battery that does that, but it's, for me, I've had plenty of third-party batteries, and the Lumix ones always lasted the longest. And again, I'll kind of come to that in the results of, you know, what I've done and what I've kind of found out about the battery. And so I've put the box here, but essentially, you know, I've been using this for months, so I just kept the box in nice condition so I could show it. But essentially in the box, you get your charger unit, which is here, so, you know, that's that there. You get 2 batteries either side. You get a standard USB-A to USB-C lead and a USB-C to USB-C lead, which I've already got mixed up with all my other cables, so it's not this one on the desk, but you get one in the pack, so a USB-C to USB-C. So that's the kind of rundown of what you actually get with it. As I said, I just wanted to keep that so you could kind of see it. And the charger itself is, you know, fairly straightforward, but it's got a nice digital readout at the top for the battery charge status, which is broken down into percentages. On the top, we've got a USB-C and a USB-C micro, which is the USB-C-A port. Oh, actually, sorry, I said that wrong in the original one. So it's USB-C to USB-C. USB-A to USB micro, so that's the 2 options you get. So you can kind of see, if you plug it in, you get this nice kind of digital readout, and then when you put your batteries in, you can see you've got this 25% kind of jump readout, and it will charge 2 batteries simultaneously. And I do quite like, actually, that it's broken down into 25%, you know, breaks, because although that seems completely logical, on the Lumix charger, for whatever reason, it's done at 50, 80 and 100, which I just find completely bizarre, but you know, that's the way it is, so that's kind of fine. And also the Lumix one is USB-C only, which is fine. You know, I've quite often got a USB-C cable with me, but you know, on the eventuality where I don't, if I've got a micro cable, you know, I know that I can get this kind of working with either, which is quite nice. And the charger does come with overcharge protection, but obviously you only want one cable going into it, so you know, don't be plugging in the USB-C cable and the USB micro, just one or the other, and then the charger will handle the kind of, you know, handle the power going in and charging the batteries. So in terms of charge time, it takes about 3.5 hours to charge 1 battery and around 5 hours to charge 2 batteries simultaneously. So it is slightly quicker than the Panasonic charger that's actually supplied with the camera, marginally. And for me, as I say, the benefit really is in the fact that it's a dual charger. You know, at any given time, usually I've got 4 batteries on me. So if I can cycle 2 batteries, have 2 charging at any time, for me, that's a bonus. You know, I mean, I just have one of these. I could use it as an additional one, but you know, personally, I just use a dual charger. And then in terms of shooting results, so I've gone out and I've used the batteries in various kind of situations, but I also wanted to do a controlled test, because there's lots of variables on these cameras that can run the battery down in different situations, and I just wanted to make it as fair as possible, really. So I prepped all the shooting options and everything before on another battery, so I could literally just switch the camera on and shoot with both batteries, because even those little tweaks in the menus can cause, you know, a little bit of battery drain. So I'd done a test on both batteries using 4K 420 10-bit long op, and that was at 25 frames a second, and I recorded that to the NVMe I can't get the card out, there we go, to the NVMe card that I had created in another video, so I'll link to that if you haven't seen it. So it's a 1TB card, so you know, I can just shoot off, you know, hours of video to it until the battery essentially dies, because it will just take whatever you can throw at it, really. So what we'll do is, that would help if I had one of the batteries in the camera. We'll use one of these K&F Concept ones. Switch that on. Okay, here we go. So we've got, you can hopefully, it might be a bit hard for you to see that. You might have to take my word for some of these results, because it's a bit hard to kind of see the numbers over the top of that. But essentially, this is the first one. So this is the K&F Concept battery. It lasted 1.5 hours and 34 seconds. So that is pretty decent, you know. That's like more or less in line what you can expect to see from the kind of stock battery. They're saying you get sort of 5 or 10% above it, but then when we did it with the Lumix battery, again, completely fair as far as I could do it test, you know, pretty much just full charge on the battery, straight into the camera, hit record, and then the Lumix battery did 1 hour 28 minutes 39 seconds. So, you know, we're not looking at drastic differences there, but the K&F Concept battery did just outlast it by, you know, that couple of minutes. And, you know, this is very much sort of based on your mileage with the with using it. As I say, that I just tried to give it as fair a test as I could, and that was kind of where it landed. And, you know, your kind of mileage might vary with the batteries, but in terms of the paper spec saying that it would offer that kind of 10%, that extra 5 to 10 minutes, I didn't quite get to that, but it is impressive, you know, that it even managed to keep pace with the official battery. So from that point of view, I was very interested in the fact that it could do that, because as I say, any other third-party battery I've got, it can't keep pace with it, and the Lumix will always beat it. So, you know, for me that was very interesting, and part of the long-term test, you know, I've been using them, like I say, a couple of months now. They still seem to be holding a really good charge, but part of that long-term test is that I want to know that they can actually hold it for a decent amount of time. And in terms of kind of issues and negatives, I tried to be quite harsh with the battery. I basically put it through a load of things that tend to cause issues with third-party batteries and break them. You know, there's no restrictions in terms of you can do everything in the camera, SSD usage, you can do, you know, all the frame rates and everything are there. Let me see if I can show that. So there's, what am I doing? Sorry, jump into that. So you can see, you know, everything's there. There's no kind of restrictions in terms of, you know, what you're able to shoot and what you're not able to shoot. It's all kind of there. But one of the things that I always do find causes issues sometimes with third-party batteries is I intentionally try to overwrite to the SSD, and then that did cause an issue, and then essentially that issue, for whatever reason, can resolve itself on a Lumix battery and can kind of come out of the error, but on these batteries it can't do that. And it's not a massive deal. You just have to power cycle the camera and it fixes it. But you know, it's one of those things where, you know, if you had the official battery in, it would be able to kind of handle that, but it's not a massive deal. And when I say handle it, I don't mean that this battery can't handle faster writing speeds to the SSD. The Lumix battery would also have the same issue. It's just the fact that I knew the SSD couldn't handle it, and I just wanted to see if that error could kind of clear itself, which, you know, it couldn't. Like I say, it's just it's one of those things. The error would have occurred either way, but it just requires a restart with a third-party battery in it. One thing that is a very, very minor little niggle that I would have really liked to see on this charger. So a lot of people probably don't even use this, but on the Lumix Charger you can have it so it's not plugged into anything. There's no wires or anything. You drop the battery in and it will actually tell you the charge of that battery, which I just think is a really nice kind of little feature, you know. I don't know if this battery's low enough to show a different... Oh yeah, it is. So you can see that one comes up with a different charge. And unfortunately, this charger just doesn't do that. You know, you drop something in when it's not on, nothing's going to happen. Obviously, if it's plugged in, it will start charging it, but it's just not. It doesn't have that little battery tester feature, which, like I say, is a little bit of a shame because I do really like that. I find that a really useful little thing to have. But at the end of the day, you know, you can just put the battery into the camera and quickly check on screen, you know, what the battery level is, or if plug the charger in, and like I say, you actually get a better readout on this anyway. It's more accurate because it can tell you between 50 and 25 and 0. So it's you know, it's sort of small marginal gains and losses. And then really the cost is where we come to the big kind of separation here. So a Lumix battery, an official BLK22 battery, to buy one of these, you're looking at around kind of £75. So that's about $100 for one of these batteries. And if you want the charging sled as well, or the charging dock, whatever you want to call it, battery dock, this is another £100, so about $130. So, you know, in total, you're looking at sort of £175 to, I don't know, over $200 essentially as a pair. Whereas this set essentially costs, it's sort of RRP, its full price is $52.99, so that's around £40 with free shipping, and that's at full price. Quite often they're kind of discounted, you know. If you buy anything from Kent Faith or K&F Concept, you know that they're discounting stuff all the time, so it's quite often actually less than that. So yeah, you've kind of got that additional ability to charge two batteries, and the benefit of them being a little bit bigger, albeit very marginally. So, you know, comparatively, you save about 85% in terms of cost going with these third-party batteries, even if you're purchasing them at full price, which you probably won't be. So, yeah, it's quite a huge gap in pricing. And as I say, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, some people are just initially totally put off because they're third-party batteries, but overall, you know, I'm really happy with the batteries and the charger. It's the nicest third-party charger I've got. They're the longest lasting third-party batteries that I've got. And, you know, they've made a really nice addition to my camera bag. I'll take out my main Lumix battery, two of these as backups. And yeah, they've just been perfect so far. I've not really had any issues with them. For the price, I don't think you can really find any better. They're just really good. So it's yeah, you know, if you've got any, like I say, other third-party batteries that you feel like are better or rival these, or, you know, you don't like to use third-party batteries, I'd kind of be interested to sort of hear in the comments. But yeah, for me, they're doing the job, and they've been really good. So, like I say, I'm going to keep going with them, keep doing a long-term test, because that tends to be where third-party batteries kind of fall. They work well for a while, and then they just sort of drop off, and they either dramatically die or they just start to lose power quite quickly. So that's not all third-party batteries. You know, these could fare a lot better than that. So I'm going to keep using them, keep yeah, just kind of shooting with them, and if anything kind of happens, obviously I'll keep you updated in another video. And if you want to check out these batteries, I'll leave a link in the description. I'll pin it top comment. You can check them out. Obviously, you know, the link in there will be like an affiliate link. You don't pay any extra, but I get a tiny commission for that sale. I believe they sell these across on Amazon as well, so I'll put whatever links in there so you can check them out and kind of see what you think. If you found this one helpful, please give the video a like. If you want to see more kind of Lumix content, you know, check out the playlist on this channel, and please subscribe.